Hi, I'm Matt Toth, Executive Director of the Kruse Education Center, and joining me today is Kellen Dooley. Kellen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. So, Kruse Education Center, we are getting up and rolling here by the end of 2021. Our target launch date for our Experience Center, which we're in right now, is about October. So we are shooting to build out a hands-on, unique experience that doesn't exist anywhere in the world, right here in Auburn, Indiana. So we've got a facility of about 100,000 square feet, and we are building out hands-on exhibits for students, veterans, and almost any individual who wants to see what actual jobs are like. And so behind me, we've got one of our first pods that we've built, and it's Bio1 is the company, and help our viewers understand what Bio1 is.
So Bio1 is a company out of Fort Wayne that does crime scene cleaning, and we also do undiscovered bodies. Anything that is above a MAID service, we take care of. We have the hazmat suits, the full face respirators, the chemicals, all the back end stuff that you would need for. We also deal with hoarding. We were actually on the Hoarder show on AMC, I believe it's on.
Okay.
We did that for a bit, and so we just like to help people get their lives back to started after a tragedy. And so.
Gotcha. So we're here in the Education Center, and you jumped in and helped build a pod for your company, for the Kruse Education Center. Why were you interested in partnering with us?
Well, Matt approached me on it, and it was a very interesting idea. When I went through school, it was always pushing kids to go to college. Like that was it. College, and you never got to do any hands-on experience. And personally, I went to college like I was supposed to, like everybody else was supposed to, and did not want to sit in an office. And so I got my paramedic degree, and then I started up this business, and it's just more hands-on. And if I would have known this ahead of time, I would have probably saved me a couple of years of kind of just wandering around trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I know this is a good experience for kids to get hands-on. Not every kid should go to college, not every kid should go to college. I think they should do what they are passionate about doing. My passion is helping people, and so I want to help people find their passion. Plus, it's cool to get people dressed up in hazmat suits. They always love that. So
Sure. So the experience that we have behind us, I guess walk us through what a student will experience as they go through this pod.
So the first thing they're going to do is, you can see on the table behind me has the suits and the full face respirators. So they're going to get dressed over up in this area outside, and they're going to get fully dressed up in suits, booties, the full suit, something that my guys would normally wear or I would wear on a scene. And then they're going to go inside this little house that we've built out, and on the other side of this window, we're going to have some sterilized goat blood on the floor, and we're going to explain to them how they're going to wipe it and why we wipe it a certain way. We don't just smear it all over the place. You wipe it, and then you have to fold it. That way you get it all cleaned up. We also explain to them and show them what happens if it sits there for too long. We'll put it on some books, we'll put it on some counters, we'll put on everything else in there so they kind of see. And so that way they get a feel for what it is like to be in a hazmat suit, because there's a lot of jobs that require you to be in a hazmat suit besides just cleaning up crime scenes. I mean, you have nuclear and all this other stuff. Like, kids don't know about these things. Let's experience their lives besides go to college and get a business degree. Like, everybody goes to college and gets a business degree. And then on the outside, you have a window that the kids outside that don't feel comfortable enough to go in the suits and put in the full face respirator, because if you are kind of claustrophobic, you're not going to like it. It does decrease your breathing a little bit. And my wife, she had to get a suit on. She did not like it one bit, I'll tell you that much, but she trooped through it. So the kids that don't want to get in, they can watch and see how it's going in there, and they can experience and see how the process of cleaning up after a suicide or after a murder or after someone's been dead for a while. Like, that stuff needs to be taken care of, and nobody talks about death in this society anymore. So
I always thought it was just the paramedics, the police officers, they would come in and clean up the scene and then leave. I had no idea that they just left everything after the body was removed for someone else to clean up.
yeah, and everybody assumes that, and that's the first assumption, but the problem is it takes hours to clean up properly. I mean, it just takes hours, and police officers don't have hours to sit on a scene. They have to go back out there and fight crime, and paramedics, which I was, we have to go back for the next call. We can't be on scene cleaning up a dead person when someone's somewhere else sick or life-threatening disease that we have to go take care of. We can't sit on scene. So this is why this company exists, and it's very helpful for them to have us come in there and take our time and make sure it's done properly and clean and make sure there's no issues afterwards.
So what specific job is being highlighted by this pod?
This job would be a biohazard technician.
So
You basically
biohazard
get
technician.
put in a
Okay.
suit, you go in there, you clean up the blood.
Okay. So your goal as a business that's partnered with us is the number one, educate individuals that this job even exists
Yes.
in the real world, because a lot of people probably have no idea that this exists. And number two, to maybe excite individuals to become a hazmat tech worker for Bio1.
I would ultimately love to hire some guys to come work for me and stuff like that, but mostly my main goal is to get people to understand there's other jobs out there that are behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And I'm a prime example of that. You don't know about me until you need to use me for something. And I want to highlight to the kids that there's jobs that are, you can get on your hands and knees, you can do stuff. After you're done, you'll see it's completed. You can see how clean it looks and you have a sense of pride on it. And just kind of look outside of the mainstream jobs that everybody always sees every day, that there's other niches out there that has to have people taking over and doing for people, helping people out. There's other ways to help people without having to do what everybody else is doing.
I think a big question people might have is, you clean up these probably nasty crime scenes and there's a lot to deal with. Is it worth it? Is the pay there? Like, what does that look like? Why would I do that versus, have the option to go to college?
The pay is actually pretty good. I pay my guys somewhere between $20 to $30 an hour. I mean, where else are you going to get starting out with very little education? I mean, I'm going to train you on site. I'm going to train you on the job. As long as you have a high school degree for the most part, and you got to do a PPE, bloodborne pathogens test, which is not that hard. I mean, you've had that before, and so it's nothing too hard to do. And so it's more of on-job training, and you're learning a skill. And that's the whole point of this whole thing is not always going to have a degree. You can just have a skill that you market yourself out to. And so, and then, I mean, we also do hoarding, and that's a whole different beast and stuff like that of helping out somebody. But this one's going to highlight more of the blood part of this business.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching, and this was a look at one of our first few pods. We hope to build out, expand, and have hundreds of different experiences in our education center for individuals to come through and have these hands-on real life exposure to what these jobs are, and exposed that they exist, that they can actually experience, have questions. I know we talked about having some of his techs on site so that as individuals walk through, they can ask them questions like, so you did this? What's the nastiest job you've ever done? Or what was the weirdest thing you've ever encountered? So having real life active professionals here on site as individuals come through some of these experiences, that's going to be tremendously helpful for individuals to interact with and engage with as they have these experiences, and then even to connect them with universities following their exposure here to a specific job. What education level is required, and maybe I want to go on to the next step of this and learn about biomaterial and hazmat removal services. And so helping individuals connect to higher education to get some of those certifications, that's also another step. So anything else you'd like to share about the business as Bio1?
Nope, not really. Our motto is help first, business second, and hopefully some kids get to learn some stuff through here.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for being here today, Callan. I appreciate it.
No problem.